He was a sociopath.
He said that I could never leave him.
He controlled how I looked and what I wore.
Listen, you're getting your freedom back, okay?
He's not dead. He has figured out a way to be invisible.
Trapped in an abusive relationship with her fiendish and violent husband, an optics scientist named Adrian Griffin, Cecilia Cass escapes from him in the dead of night with the help of her sister Emily. Cecilia has drugged Adrian with diazepam, but as she escapes, Cecilia frees their dog, which sets off the car's alarm and wakes up a furious Adrian who pursues her. As she escapes with Emily, Cecilia leaves the drug bottle behind, which Adrian finds lying in the road. 2 weeks later, Cecilia lives in hiding at the household of her best friend James Lanier and his teenage daughter Sydney. Remaining a recluse who is afraid of leaving the house, Cecilia freaks out when Emily comes to visit, believing Adrian will try to harm her. However, Emily shares the news that Adrian committed suicide. His brother Tom bequeaths to Cecilia his late brother's fortune and estate, which Cecilia only accepts to fund Sydney's college tuition and James's household. However, Cecilia is filled with an uneasy feeling that she is being watched and, in the night, is stalked by an unseen force which only she recognizes.
Are you okay?
He's sitting in that chair.
In the middle of the night, while asleep next to Sydney, the comforter is slowly pulled off and several flashes of light are seen. Cecilia wakes up and is suspicious about the blankets at the foot of the bed. When she tries to take them back, they won't move. Her reaction wakes up both Sydney and James, but she's unable to explain what she thinks she'd seen. Cecilia goes to a job interview for an architect's position. When she opens her portfolio to show her work, Cecilia finds it gone and faints. After going to the hospital, Cecilia discovers that she was drugged. Upon returning home, she receives a call from the doctor telling her she had enough diazepam in her system to constitute a mild overdose that caused her fainting spell. She suddenly finds the bottle of diazepam Adrian had uncovered. Feeling unsafe, Cecilia visits Emily, who is angry and despondent to her, having received a hateful email from Cecilia's account. Cecilia looks on her email, discovers the sent message and has an emotional breakdown. Sydney tries to cheer her up but is assaulted by an unseen force, causing Sydney to freak out and believe Cecilia did it. James then decides to take Sydney out of the house to a safer place. Meanwhile, Cecilia investigates the house and finds her work in the attic crawl space, as well as a large kitchen knife of James's and several photos of her asleep which have been taken by an unseen stalker. Realizing she is not alone, Cecilia dumps a bucket of paint on the ladder when she senses movement and uncovers a man's shape wearing some kind of suit. The man flees and washes off the paint before Cecilia exits the attic.
Where are you?
Show yourself!
Surprise.
The two fight until Cecilia breaks free from his grasp and escapes the house, getting into a lift car she has called. Cecilia has the driver bring her to Adrian's. Upon entering her husband's house and sneaking into his laboratory, Cecilia discovers a high-tech suit he was working on that could make him invisible. Cecilia takes this suit and hides it but is attacked by the invisible man until her dog returns and intervenes, buying her time to escape. Cecilia sets up a meeting with Emily at a restaurant and apologizes while also explaining that she loves her. Emily's skepticism starts to melt as they begin to bond, and Cecilia explains that she found an invisible suit at Adrian's lab. Suddenly, a large knife is dragged across Emily's throat, killing her. The knife is placed in Cecilia's hand, who is then arrested and moved to a sanitarium. Now doubting her own sanity and finding out she is pregnant with Adrian's child, Cecilia gives in but is then confronted by Tom, who explains he was working with his brother the whole time. Tom says that she will lose the fortune and be admitted permanently to this institution unless she returns to Adrian with his child. Cecilia refuses, still enraged that he killed her sister. Tom leaves, but not before Cecilia steals one of his pens. In her room, Cecilia prepares to kill herself by slashing her wrist with the pen, but the invisible man stops her. Having pulled him out of hiding by using herself as bait, Cecilia stabs him with the pen twice, causing his suit to glitch and for him to appear and disappear at random. A security guard enters to stop her but is stunned by the glitching figure, who beats him down. Cecilia rushes out into the hall and is stopped by several security guards who also see the glitching figure. The invisible man easily overpowers them before escaping into the stormy night. Cecilia tracks him down, but he overpowers her and tells her that he will now set his sights on Sydney. Cecilia warns James of the danger and he rushes home to see an unseen figure attacking his daughter. James tries to intervene but is beaten horribly in front of a terrified Sydney. Cecilia breaks in and sprays the figure with a fire extinguisher, revealing his shape before unloading on him with a fallen officer's pistol. The invisible man falls to the floor and dies of his wounds. Cecilia unmasks the invisible man, revealing him to be Tom. Adrian is found tied and walled up in his house when a SWAT team storms his place. James explains that the evidence suggests that Tom used his brother to get at Cecilia, but she is still convinced that Adrian and Tom were working together and that in case the worst happened, Adrian set it up that Tom would take the fall. Still stressed from the series of events, Cecilia calls Adrian and agrees to meet him for dinner. Cecilia is wearing a listening device, hoping to find a way to get a confession out of him with the help of James, who is positioned outside the property. Cecilia asks him if he was stalking her, but Adrian denies it at first but later implies that he was indeed preying upon her. As Cecilia excuses herself to the bathroom, Adrian begins to realize something else is up when suddenly his head is jerked back and his throat is slashed. Adrian collapses to the ground, bleeding to death. Cecilia enters the room and appears shocked before calling the police, reporting an apparent suicide in a panicky tone. Cecilia then gloats over Adrian's dying body and implies that she did this using his invisible suit. James rushes in and finds Cecilia escaping with Adrian's suit and dog. Upon discovering that she set this up with the plan of murdering him, James lets her go nonetheless. Cecilia leaves into the night, perhaps with the plan of stealing her husband's work for her own future benefit. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more contents like this.